just went and took the batteries out of it.
You did.
Came back later and Janet Matty's like, we kind of got headaches today. Then the other one went off. I said, you guys stay here. I'll be right back. Okay.
You ready, Jackie?
Yes.
All right, we're going to get tonight started. Could we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Aaron? Jacob?
Here.
Jason?
Here.
Victor?
Here,
Jackie?
she's making copies.
Yep.
Approval of the agenda.
Do we need to remove the executive session, or just leave it on there?
You just pass it.
Okay.
So, right, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Jacob?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jackie?
Consent agenda.
Is the issues with the Dollar General's heating any concern?
They had a state evaluation there, last week? And it was not a concern to them, so they'd have more of a concern, I believe we would.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Roll call, please.
Jason?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jacob?
Yes.
Communication from the new business, Overland Properties. I don't see them here. Guess we'll leave it on the agenda. We'll come back to them if they're here.
I'm
Next.
assuming the weather kept them from coming.
Next item, I think we're all aware what's going to happen here on a 5th and K. Here's a recommendation from Mr. Kennedy. He's our public safety officer. His recommendation is to make that a 4-way stop. What's the council's pleasure here?
I'll make a motion that we make a 4-way stop at 5th and K where the trailer courts made their new exit.
Second.
Any public comment? Roll call, please.
Victor?
Yes.
Jacob?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Next item's David.
Yes, so the owner of this property called me 10 days ago maybe and said that he had just gotten our last notice and he hadn't gotten any of the prior notices. And so I said, well, if he wanted to come to the council meeting tonight and talk to the council, I thought he should do that, and I would recommend to you that you allow him to do that. I think I emailed you all to that effect. I let him know that we all take it very seriously. If you're going to demolish a building, that you can't undo that. And so I wanted to
Sure.
give him as much due process as we can, and so that was what I recommended to him. I don't know if he's
Mr.
here.
Ray, you here? You want to come on up and speak? Up to the mic, please. Thank you.
Hey there.
Hello, Skip.
Hey. Never done this before. so,
Sure.
Well, my plan is to re-roof and re-side the house. And this last year, I have been ill and had problems. Couldn't stand up, couldn't get in the car, couldn't do anything like that. And we had bad weather the whole time. I spent all fall cleaning up the yard, and I have somebody lined up to do siding and the roof. I would like to do that because I just got through paying for the property.
We'd much rather see it renovated than it be tore down. We just didn't have any communication. You know, there was some concerns on the property maintenance, and
Yeah.
this is just, so what's the council want to do? Do you have a timeline, sir?
I don't, I can start on the siding on the house on the south side this winter because this doesn't require, too much ladder work. And probably, as soon as the weather breaks, gets above freezing for a while, we can start on the roof. I have to replace down to the studs because for some reason there was 7 layers of shingles on it. And then the last people that put shingles on used 3/4-inch nails, so they didn't stick.
What's the council want to do?
I would say it fixed and tore down.
Exactly, that was our goal.
Couldn't quite hear.
We'd rather see it repaired and maintained and brought back to a living home than us tear it down. I mean, that was our main goal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It'd be a financial devastation for me, though, if it gets torn down.
But I mean, we do need to have some sort of commitment and a timeline. So I mean, can you commit to a timeline tonight?
If we if we go 90 days, that'll be the May meeting.
Would 90 days be sufficient in your eyes
For committing?
to bring it up, to bring it up?
No,
To
it's
do-
winter. Yeah, it's probably 6 months.
I think in 90 days, you'd have to make some steps.
Oh, I can get some done in 90 days.
I mean, to show some good faith that something's gonna happen, my suggestion is we give a stay for like 90 days, and then if nothing's been done, then we move forward.
Could we get something in writing?
Yeah, I was, excuse me, I was going to suggest either that. I mean, the minutes also arguably provide that. You're on the record as saying you can make significant progress in 90 days
Yes,
on restoring the exterior of the building
yes,
and the roof.
yep.
Okay. I mean, one thing you could do is have Mr. Ray come back at your May meeting and explain to you what he's done and what progress he's making and when he thinks he'll be done at that point. I don't want to make work for the council or have Mr. Ray have to show up here, but that might not be a bad way to keep in touch. And, Mr. Ray, when we talked on the phone, I'm glad you're here. If you hadn't have shown up, then I think the recommendation would have been to tear it down. So, and that's fine. But that's part of my thinking. The reason I say that is part of my thinking, and having you come back in 90 days is to continue to show the council you're working on this and you're serious about it.
Okay.
That's just a thought.
As long as you're comfortable, I mean, we're going to hold you to that timeline. If you're confident you can do
All I
that.
can do is try. I mean, that's,
Council want to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion that we hold off for 90 days and review it in May, and if nothing's been done, I'm gonna make a motion that we move forward with demolition.
Second.
Any public comment? Roll call, please.
Jackie?
Yes,
Jacob?
yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
excuse me. Aaron wanted to call in, and I'm sorry I missed the first part because there was something that I wanted to bring up. But whose phone would he call in on?
Well, this phone is terrible and this phone is terrible as far as hearing and being part of the discussion. You'd have to do it on an iPhone.
Put him on my cell phone.
Yeah, if you want to put him on a cell phone,
Okay.
on the, on this microphone.
All right, Mr. Ray, we're going to see you back here in 90 days.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Hopefully
Thank
the
you.
weather's better.
That'll be the May meeting.
I'm surprised you made it here.
Yeah.
All right, next item's Jason.
At our last,
Mike? That's fine. Can you hear everybody?
Jackie,
Can you hear?
Councilman Grau cannot vote this way, right? He can just listen.
What?
He can't vote
Okay.
in virtual attendance, I don't believe.
We've always
Right.
allowed it in the past.
Yeah,
We have.
okay.
Go ahead, Jason.
all right, there, at our last meeting, we talked about extending some benefits to part-time employees, and at our workshop, we discussed that also. I didn't know where everybody stood on the proposed benefits that that Lisa had provided to us.
I believe our meeting, we agreed to the 11 holidays.
And did we ever did we discuss what that mean? Did we discuss if that's hours that they normally work, if it's 8 hours? What would we discuss, or what did we come to on that?
Well, it was just a discussion. Anything, any decision needs made tonight, so you'd have to make that recommendation, the 11 holidays and the hours you want to comp them for.
But is it 11 or 12? We have 12.
Whatever you want to do, you make the policy tonight.
There's a floating and a birthday. And
No, just the regular holidays. There's no floating, no birthday.
There are on our list. All right, how many do we have on our list,
Do you have a
Jackie?
I believe there's
You have the
11.
list?
Yes.
Rattle them off quick like an auctioneer. Ready, go.
I work for with the seniors, and as far as employee benefits, it's going to be very difficult for me to meet those benefits, part-time benefits, if my hours are continually being cut. This week alone, I am told I don't need to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and possibly Friday, because the seniors programs are being cut this week due to inclement weather or for reasons I've not been told. So how can I meet those benefit hours if my hours are being cut? I did all of the special events, which were out of my hours on Saturdays. They have been taken away from me. There was an event on Sunday that was an unsupervised event. I had no knowledge of that event, but if my hours are being taken away from me, how can I meet these hours to have any sort of benefits whatsoever?
Our discussion on the holiday pays, we're going to come up with a flat number.
All I was asking for was holiday pay and the opportunity to accrue vacation and sick pay. How can I do that if I'm not getting the hours that I'm willing to put in? Originally, a year ago, Kendra will tell you, I asked for 32 hours so that I could accrue those hours. I didn't want medical, and that's a lot of money. It saves you a lot of money, and I didn't need it. I have done a lot. Jackie, I've worked on events for you. I've worked on events for the seniors, private events. But if those hours now are being taken away from me in this, how can I possibly accrue those hours that I'm asking you for?
I don't believe they're being taken away. He's just not going to transport all seniors in when it's, this cold outside. It's the only reason they're not doing the programs this week.
The hours are being taken away because I was doing those extra events, and now I've been told because there are 2 people that are scheduled on Saturdays, I'm no longer necessary.
Well, the holidays, the holidays won't be affected by how many hours you're working. The holidays will be based on, that's not.
But I can't accrue any other hours if I'm not working the hours that are necessary.
Right, and we haven't decided yet on vacation, vacation or
Sick leave.
sick leave. We just wanted to get the holidays in there so that when the buildings close because of holidays, that you're not
Missing out on pay.
punished, and it's not punished, but not missing out because it's not open.
But how many hours do I have to work to accrue those sick leave hours? or vacation
There's not
hours?
sick
Holiday
leave.
pay.
It's we're doing
It's
holidays.
just holiday.
It's all under holiday pay.
Yeah.
They're going to set that now. Are you guys going to set it at 6? What hours you want to set it at, Victor?
I thought I was gonna go 6 hours.
6 hours
6
every
hours.
So
holiday.
you'll get 72 hours,
6 hours for
12 holidays.
whatever holidays everybody else gets. I think that we should.
Yeah.
There's 12 holidays.
Yep.
There's 12
Okay.
paid holidays.
All right,
Well-
thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion to pay part-time 6 hours for the 12 holidays we recognize for the rest of the employees.
Second.
Any public comment? Roll call, please.
Jacob,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Victor,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Yes.
Next item, Jacob.
oh, I'm sorry. Aaron,
Yes.
Don't breathe on my phone, you're sick.
What I had on here was just clear up the misinformation for the baseball team. I know there's a lot of opinions in regards to who pays, who doesn't pay, any information in regards to that. I wanted to come on here. We did receive receipts from last month's meeting where we said there was one team that was not utilizing the facility at the proper rate. They did pay. I'm not going to put the amount out there. It was the adequate amount. I received it from the team's leadership, and I did receive it from Tyler, who owns the facility. So my big ask of people that come up for anything athletic, anything involving any of community center, city hall, anything of that nature, if you do bring up a concern, please bring up information with it, not just an opinion, because I don't want either teams dragged through the mud, people dragged through the mud. We need to start having factual conversations instead of just, hey, I don't like this person or I don't like these individuals. Whatever the reason is, I just want to squash that. So if anything is brought up, please bring up the facts. If it is an issue with the community center, please have Tyler come up here with you or come up to us individually so we can have those conversations so it's actually addressed properly and people aren't crucified at a meeting that the city does watch and the information that everyone's seeing is incorrect.
All right, thank you. Down to ordinances and resolution. A, second reading of ordinance to adopt proposed code of ordinances.
Okay, I had some concerns about that. I called David on Friday and asked him what happens to the ones that we passed prior to passing this. Does this cancel out the ones that we've already passed? Or how is it going to work?
Depends a little bit what you're doing here. I mean, you can pass.
Some of them were amendments on some of the ones we had before, and so now the ones that we amended are put back to how they were originally, pretty much. So what happens to the ordinances that we amended back in January and December?
So what you're considering now is really a compilation of the ordinances that you've passed over, really, since the inception of the city. If you've amended things, they should be as amended as they're compiled into this. As part of this process, you can also amend ordinances, and those as amended will become part of this compilation, if you will. So if there's whatever it might be, an ordinance that has been around for a long time, and you amended it a year ago, and you didn't do anything to it in the intervening year, it should go into this book as amended a year ago.
Okay, but this was December and January. We passed the UTV one, and we amended 3 others, the golf cart,
Right.
posting agendas and so forth. And they're in, the ones that I'm talking about are in yellow on this handout that I just
But
passed
like
out.
December, you're talking about just like 3 months ago.
Right.
2 months.
What was Jackie, what's the cutoff on how far this,
well, the
Codi-
codification that you're approving is everything that was done up through the end of November. So the new things that you approved in December are going into the final book. He already has them. So the references that you've made that they're not in there, They're not in the one that you have in your possession because I gave them to him after.
So you can say that for a fact, that those, we're not overriding those? Because
don't
I
thi-
talked to a couple of other attorneys,
So-
and they felt like we'd have to go back and redo those.
It doesn't sound like that's the intent,
No,
it's just a
what you
timing.
passed and approved in December has already been emailed to him to be added into the final codification. The final codification can't be completed online until you guys do your 3 readings.
But we're not voting on those in here.
We already did, it's done.
You already
You already
did.
did.
I know, but now we're voting on what is in the one in front of us, and those are not included in it.
But what you can do as part of your motion, I think,
Is add the date.
So the first reading was supposed to be in December. No, the first reading was in January. I published for the January meeting. That was your first reading.
right,
No. Are we in February?
yeah.
We skipped January. The first reading was in December. The first reading of the codification was in December. The January meeting, you decided to table it because you wanted to do a review of the code in your opinion. And now we're here for the second reading in February. Now, in December, you also passed those ordinances, and at that meeting, I said, yes, they will be included in the final book that you approve. I sent them to him the next morning, okay? So they're already in there.
They are in there now?
They
Then
are
can we
going to be
see the copy with those in them before we do the final reading? If that's the case. Because one of them,
They're not in that, they're not in the codification, only from November
she just said that
back.
they're already in there.
But they are going to
But
be
that's not
added
what we're
in.
voting on.
So what I
From
would,
November
Did you
early.
go online and look? If he added them
I
in?
went off of the one that you sent us.
But we're voting on all action taken as of November of '24.
That's not our vote, though.
We'll make that motion. You can make that motion.
so Mayor, you're saying make the motion to,
Because in December, would they,
approve.
And I'd also like to
Approve.
add that one of those was worded incorrectly 3 times, and it was corrected before we voted on it every time, but it kept coming back to us incorrect. So I want to make sure that it goes into
Was
this.
that before November or? after?
correct.
That was the final one. The
I mean,
final
there
time
has
we
to be a
voted
cutoff
on it, it
somewhere.
was
Somewhere
still, we
there's gonna
received an incorrect.
Right, but you
copy.
don't want to have to go back and do your codification again, so.
But
so
you're
I
gonna do
think-
it every year, so it
Right,
needs to be more caught up yearly instead of 12 years.
right, right. What I think you should do here, correct me if I'm wrong, is if you want, make a motion to pass the codified ordinances on second reading and to add to that compilation for third reading, the ordinances you passed in December. Does
So is
that
it
work?
possible to see it with those in, so we know that we're actually
I
voting?
don't know, from a timing standpoint, I think that would be good practice if that works so that when you're voting on third reading, third and final reading.
That we would have
That
it
you
all.
have the full and final book.
Okay,
At that point, right? When we talked on the phone, we talked about the reason you do 3 readings with an ordinance
Right.
is really a function of public notice. So when you go to vote on third and final, it would be good that the public has, and you all, of course, have access to truly the final book. So
okay,
you know, in this case, you can have your cake and eat it too.
okay.
You can bring everything together and throw in those December ordinances so you don't have to, so your book's not already out of date when you adopt it. And I
Okay.
don't know, Jackie, Carl, does that work timing-wise?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that sounds great. And I was actually just looking up because the UTV ordinance was one of the last ones. And a good portion of it does appear in the code that's online. I'm not sure about the other one. I'll have to go back and find the other one.
It's online, but is it in the codification or is it after the codification?
Yeah, so the codification version is ready to go, basically online.
Did you adopt any ordinances in January? I don't,
3. We amended 3 in January.
on third and final reading? Okay. So you want to make clear in your motion that you want.
those
you wanna
are all corrected
approve-
and-
Approve on second reading the compilation
Because the way
to
they worded
include
not, the
anything,
changes have not been
anything
made.
adopted in December, adopted on third and final reading in December or January.
Right. Now, and then going to the sheet that I just passed out, these X's are things that I found as I went through there, and I'm just wondering why these changes were made. So if we start at the first one, it refers to time and distance employment requirement. So it's been added, but I don't know how this can be added without the council actually voting on it over the period of time. So if you want to read that one. It's a policy that goes in the handbook, and it says that it can only be modified with the concurrence of the mayor. So the council has no say on this once we vote on it. So I just want to make sure that's something that you want to go into the handbook.
Okay, what's next?
Okay, what's the other one?
Okay,
City Hall at 9.
so you're okay with that one? Or are you going to discuss it at a later time? Okay, then the next text on the next page is where originally it said the finance officer would have authority to adjust by transfer up to $1,500 with the mayor's approval, and anything over $1,500 requires the prior council approval. The way it currently reads, they took out the part that I have crossed out, and it says that any amount over that, in excess of that, I crossed out too much, can be done without the council approval. So are we going to allow any amount of money to be transferred without our approval?
Well, I'll tell you right now, administrative transfers, there's no administrative transfers done except the ones that are approved at the end of the budget year when we do the transfers. I do it every year in August or September.
But why would this be changed then?
I don't know that this was changed. I can't tell you. I
I
just received
copied
this
and
tonight, so I've had
pasted.
no time to go back and review any of the notes that I did for the last 18 months. I've had no time to look at this.
Let's go to the next one.
Okay? Then we go down to the next one, appointments. In the old book, it says that the old book, under council, let's see, mayor appointments, it has the ones I have listed in the middle box. It includes the chief of police, zoning board of adjustment. How is this? Okay. Then on the left side is, originally it was with council approval, so the chief of police has been moved under the mayor only. And the three that are in red have been added: the building official, the planning and zoning commission, and weed official, whatever that is. Those are all new in that box. Then if you go to the next box, on the next page, under appointments, for the council in the middle box, it says Planning and Zoning Commission is an appointment of the council. And if you look over on the left now, it's moved that over to under the mayor.
I believe the building inspector I don't know if that's the building inspector was appointed by the council. I don't know, planning and zoning was always appointed by.
Well, that's not what it says in the municipal handbook, though.
In your chart, though, isn't that,
What?
if I'm reading your chart correctly, it says, "The council shall appoint the following officials and board and commission members following a recommendation from the mayor," and E under that heading that I just read is Planning and Zoning Commission.
That's on the new one.
Right.
The old one had it, and I put it in red, under the council.
And this is still the council, this just, the change is that there's a recommendation from the mayor first.
No, that's not in the old copy.
I
That's in the new
understand.
one.
But in both cases, the council has the final say on appointing members of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Yes, they always have, I thought.
But if you go back to the mayor's responsibilities on the first page, it did not give the planning and zoning. That was added. They did not originally give that under the mayor, in the bottom middle box on the page before that.
The bottom middle box. I see.
So the next one, so there's discrepancy on the planning and zoning and where it fits in when you go from one to the other. And what we've actually been doing isn't it what it actually says in our municipal handbook currently.
Say that again.
The way we've been actually doing it is not how it's stated in our current municipal handbook.
Okay.
So then you go down to the middle one on that page, the Planning and Zoning Commission. Then it's listed in a third place. And the old one said the city planning and zoning. Now that one does say by the council with the recommendation of the mayor. But then you go over to the new one, and it just says by the council.
We went.
So you're flipping back and forth on all of these.
Isn't the planning and zoning appointed, recommended by the mayor but approved by the council?
Yes.
Yes.
Depends on where you look.
Is there anywhere it says it's appointed by the mayor?
No. Some say that the mayor recommends and the council appoints, and some don't. But everything has the council appointing.
And if you look at, but they don't agree. You look at what it says in the new one, and even if you're on the third page, the top box does not agree with the bottom box, where it's saying that the council is appointed by the council appoints the planning and zoning committee.
You're on
Commission.
the third page,
Yep.
and you're comparing 17.05 to 23.01.
So, yeah. It's just not consistent throughout. And on the last page, peace officers appointed. Originally, it said with the consent of the council for the chief, and the new one, it took out and put that the mayor just appoints the police chief. There's nothing, they removed the consent of the majority of the council. So you need to think about, those changes that you agree with? Or do you need to think about those and maybe discuss some of them?
I think it takes out the consent of a majority of the council, but it still says in the new one, the police chief shall select subject to the approval of
The
the
approval
council,
of the council, yes, members.
other members of the department.
No, if you look up at the top, it doesn't have police chief, let's see. the
Talking about
council
the
shall
police
appoint members
officer
of the
thing on the
police
last page.
Other than, the council shall appoint members of the police department other than the police chief, is how it reads now.
Where-
And if you go back to page 2 in the bottom box, in the bottom corner, it just says that the mayor shall appoint the following officials, the mayor pro tem and the police chief.
Did you
Nothing.
verify any of these with the state code?
Yes, I did.
So the state code didn't change the subject
No.
to,
There was no state code listed here. If there was a state code, I listed it.
There-
And none
you
of
have
these,
listed
none of these
some-
had the state code listed. If I could find something from the state, I did put it over in the right-hand box. Iowa League says,
that's what the Iowa code says. In Iowa, mayors appoint the police chief with the consent of the majority of the city council. The appointment must follow civil service procedures and standards outlined by Iowa Code, Chapter 400.
so why has that been removed?
So the new one's actually correct.
The new one does not say with the approval of the council.
This one?
In black and white, and
Right down here.
under the red it does, with the appointment of the council and other members of the.
Where do you see that?
The mayor shall recommend the appointment of the following officials for council approval.
That's number one. The mayor appoints those three. Number two, they do it with the recommendation, with the approval of the council. The police chief is not down there where it says with the approval of the council.
Yeah, there are
It's
two
up above.
There are two different things here.
Number one is just appointed by the mayor. Number two is with the approval of the council. I just think if there's changes that have been made, that we should all be aware of them and make sure that we agree with the changes that have been made.
Well, don't we have to follow state code? Jackie said it's spelled out in state code. the
Well,
appointment.
again, I want to say, everybody just received this tonight. I would like to have the opportunity to meet with Justin and go over each one of these to verify between the state code and what was in the current book. I can't tell you what I looked at over the last year and a half ago. I mean, I have no idea.
All right, you want to table it again tonight?
Do a workshop on it? Yep.
How long do we have, I mean, since the first reading was back in December, how long do we have, David, before we have to start over?
I was just looking at that. Give me just a second. There we go. I'm not finding it right now, but it's a fairly short period of time.
And every one of these, I looked up on the state code and tried to verify every one of them to make sure that it was in sync with that.
You want to make a motion to table this for the next workshop then? Or what do you want to do?
Well, I thought we was gonna be able to go ahead with the second reading with the statement that Mr. Levy had made.
Which is fine.
You can, yeah, you can do that. I mean, to me, a lot of this looks like it just needs to be checked and maybe cleaned up. It feels like
Yeah.
sort of,
And
I
then
don't wanna
make
call
sure
it
that we
typos,
have those
but
other amendments
something
included.
got deleted maybe and it shouldn't have, or the police chief one, I think, is a good example, right? It doesn't, I don't know why that change would have been made unless it was accidental. And if it was accidental, and if the Iowa statutes say that the council confirms that, then that's what the book should say.
Yeah,
So I think you can do either way. Just make your motion very clear as to what you want to do if you're going to move forward to the third reading.
and some of these, I think you have an option to change them if you want, but I think it needs to be discussed and decided by the council before a change is made. Not just changed and voting on it without knowing.
So you're gonna go with the second reading?
I'm okay with the second.
Make your motion.
Okay, I move we go ahead and approve it tonight, but we have a discussion and look at some of the things that have been changed, and that by the third reading, it includes the amendment changes that we've,
From December and January.
right,
Okay, so your motion is to pass on second reading the Code of Ordinances and to include in that Code of Ordinances anything that the council passed on third and final reading in December 24, January 25, and to have the city clerk go back and look at these cleanup items that you've identified before third and final reading?
yes.
Okay.
I'll second.
Any public comment? Roll call, please.
Jason?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes,
Aaron?
Aaron?
Jacob?
Yes.
You woke up.
Item B, resolution to set hearing for proposed property tax rate.
So you're gonna have, based on the schedule with the state of Iowa, now, we agreed that the tax rate was gonna be $10.27. That's what you all agreed at the last workshop. And so that will be what appears on the tax rate, which is the exact same tax rate that we had last year. And so by telling me that, that you agree to that tax rate tonight, then we'll have the public hearing on the proposed tax rate on April 7th. It'll be a special meeting on Monday, April 7th. And then I will publish notice in the paper for the final budget on April 10th. And then on April 21st, you will have your budget hearing and adoption of the final budget by resolution. So I need a motion to set the tax rate, the proposed tax rate at 1027. And our first public hearing will be on April 7th.
And I just want to clarify too, to keep it at that rate, we have to pull money from the reserves to meet the budget.
Jackie, is that April 7th, the date you said?
Yes.
April 7th, Monday, April 7th.
Is it too soon to have the public hearing at our next meeting instead of having a special meeting?
No, you have to spread them out because I have to do a publication.
Okay.
So we cannot have our public hearing, the first proposed tax rate public hearing until after the 30th of March.
Okay.
Because of I have to send it to the state and to the county, and then they send out the notices to all the residents, and they have to send out those notices by like the 15th or 20th of March. So to allow enough time to get to everybody, they're saying don't have your hearing until after the 1st of April, to make sure that everybody has enough time to get that mailing from the county that shows our tax rate. And then we'll have that hearing, and that gives it time for the public to come and ask their question. And then 2 weeks later, you'll have your public hearing to adopt the budget.
All right, I'll make that motion
Okay.
for April 7th.
Okay.
Second.
Sure. Come on up.
Jerry Hunter at 120 Marina Court. Why or what caused the problem of having to take things out of the reserve? What's the big expenditure that created the budget to get that close?
Over the last few years, we've been trying to keep that number for tax relief purposes. Over the last few years, we did investments with our reserves, and they build interest-bearing accounts. We're taking them interest dollars and putting into this to provide tax relief for the citizens. Instead of raise taxes, we're taking those interest dollars off our accounts to backfill this to keep the taxes as low as we can.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Victor?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Jacob?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Next item came to us from the EMA manager at Council Bluffs. He just wanted every city in the county to adopt this hazard mitigation plan for the county. And it's a basic plan. I think you can look through it. Every county's adopted it other than a few. We're one of the last ones, so.
Yeah, all the schools in the county, all the schools in the cities, all across Pot County are adopting this. And it also assists us with receiving funding for disasters and through FEMA.
Did we get a copy of that, or we don't need a copy of it? Do we have a copy of that?
Yeah. Yeah, it starts about
It's just a one page.
somewhere around page 50. Page 41 is where it starts. The entire plan is in the packet, and it's also on the website.
What number did you say? 41?
Page 41. And it's a comprehensive emergency management
Oh, I
plan.
read this. Okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion that we move forward.
Second.
Any public comment? Roll call, please.
Aaron?
Yes.
Jacob?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes.
Consider approving pay application number 2 for trail project.
So this pay application, let me get down to it so I can look at it here. On page 111 in your packet, if you want to jump to that page so you can look at that while I'm talking about it. There was 2 pay apps that have been completed, and one was paid earlier. I think it was paid in November. I can't tell you right off the top of my head, but the first pay app was work completed up to July 31st of 2024, and that pay app was done. The second one is December, all the work completed through December 31st, 2024. And so that pay app is for $129,266.96. This also is going to, there's a 5% retainage. I believe there's a 5% retainage that's held. Yeah, there's a 5% retainage held. They're gonna have to come back and do some reseeding and some cleanup along the edges after the spring. They put all the grass seeding stuff down in the fall and it didn't take because we didn't get any rain. So they'll be coming back. So there's 15,000 that we're holding on that contract. And this is part of the trail grant. And I have to file this paperwork with the state to tell them that we've paid this so that they can reimburse us for our cost. Because it's all funded through the state.
15,371 in the second to last column,
Yes.
the 1231
Yep.
PC2.
We met up there and did a walkthrough in probably October. And they never fixed a thing that we put on the list.
I don't know how much they did.
They didn't do any.
Okay.
So I mean,
So from October to now,
I was on emails with that engineer and multiple times, and I said, we're not paying until you're done. I mean, I don't know if the 15,000's enough. It's up to you guys, but I made it clear. I told them multiple times that the ground would be freezing. They would not be able to do the work. And I was not, I'm not supporting paying them until they're done. I reminded them multiple times that winter's coming and they needed, I mean, some of it was as simple as they never even swept any of it. Like, it just has dirt all over it from, like, there were some pretty simple things they could have done to, and our maintenance thought they were gonna go do it for them, and, I mean, it's not they got paid good money to put this project in. I mean, it was like 300,000 or something for it.
yeah.
But I'm not gonna support paying them until, I mean, unless you wanna raise maybe give them 50% or something, but.
Do you want to change that 5% to 15%?
50%.
I mean, we need a number to get their attention. I mean, they were well aware, I made them well aware multiple times that they hadn't done nothing before the ground froze, so I don't really feel sorry for them.
Let's just go to a 50% retainer. We own 129, we'll pay them
Can we just change?
164.
What is your, I mean, this is,
I don't think you're going to change the middle of a retainage in the middle of a contract.
and it's a grant, so I don't.
I think you just got to hold up on the payment. Hold up on the payment until Jason does another walkthrough and he knows that it's completed.
Yeah, I think if you wanted to pay them part, I would do it that way rather than trying to change the contract, right? But I think the mayor's right. I think
if there's concerns, we hold payment.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I don't.
the
Unfortunately, I
fairest
don't feel
course.
bad because I gave them multiple warnings.
Okay. Your motion is to withhold payment?
I just make a motion to decline payment at this time.
Second.
Any public comment? Roll call, please.
Jacob?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Item E, consider resolution set wage for Nick Walton. He's in the fire department.
Nick Walton salary, well, it says annual salary, but it's 50,000.
Nick's the second.
Second EMT.
Second
EM.
shift EMT, yes.
So we have a second coverage in the city for, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Any public comment? Roll call, please.
Jason?
Yes.
Victor?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Jacob?
Yep.
Item
While
F.
we're on that, our new fire chief also declined to have a third person come on at this time, so we took that out of our budget.
Item F, consider resolution to set wage for Aiden Chambers. He works in maintenance.
$16.
Is that the fill in that position, or is this like a part-time? This is full-time.
This is the full-time position. Yep.
And he's already working here, correct, isn't he?
Yeah.
So we started because we didn't know if it was gonna work out, so we started him as a seasonal. And he's done really well, and so Bob asked for us to move him into permanent full-time.
Okay.
So he can qualify for the benefits now.
And this is Bob's proposal, this is Bob's, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any public comment? Roll call, please.
Victor?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Jacob?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Next item, Nancy, food pantry update.
Hi, I'm Nancy Fitzpatrick. I'm really excited about the pantry. If you haven't drove by and seen all the Story Street pantry trailers there, they're moving here. So they're going to be based out of the church moving. So we'll still be doing the first Saturday of each month from 10 to 12. It's going to be bigger and better. Now I can tell you, if you want to donate money, you can hand me a check written to Story Street Pantry, or you can send it to the Presbyterian Church, or give it to Robin. And that would be used for food or gas or other things that we need for it. Also, you can do, if you want to make donations of non-perishable things, paper towels, toilet paper, soap, shampoo, anything like that, dog food, pet food. We're also going to get back into that now. So anything like that that you want to donate, you can get a hold of me or Robin to drop it off.
So this is gonna be the new pantry for Council Bluffs also?
They're moving from the Story Street Pantry is moving from their Council Bluffs location to the church here.
They're still going to service Council Bluffs out of church?
They were just working out of that church. There's like 8 places, I think, that they go. They have two of the trailers are like the ones that we work out of. And I would invite we're doing it March 1st. Hopefully it's going to be warmer than it is this week. But March 1st will be open again. You can come down and see the inside of a trailer. It looks like there's a little sacking area and groceries. And,
So those trailers be here permanently then?
yeah. Well, they'll be in and out of here. Going to the different places that they service.
So you're serving Council Bluffs and Crater Lake, or?
There's, I don't know where all the places are. I think there's one that's even in Bellevue,
Oh.
if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
Okay.
I just have always dealt with the one here. That's what I'm focused
But
on.
they'll
The
come
dry-
here. They'll
the-
come from Bellevue and Council Bluffs.
Yeah, and the non-perishable stuff, the toilet paper and the things like that that I'm asking for, that's gonna be just for, I'm focusing for that, for Carter Lake people.
So you warehouse the food in the building then, and then distribute it in the trailers?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, all right.
It's gonna move in and out pretty quickly. I don't know if any of you have seen it. We've still been moving stuff in, and we had some apples that, we weren't gonna have a pantry soon enough to get rid of, so we were running around last week, holding up apples, giving away apples to people driving by the street. So I put it on Facebook, and I thought for sure I'd have comments about people complaining that we were blocking traffic giving away apples. But we had a blast doing it. It was a lot of fun, and I think it made people aware.
Are you gonna
We were
leave it? Are you guys planning to stay over here now, or are you planning
Yeah.
to come back to your church?
We'll be over there.
Okay.
We'll be over there. The location, I mean, putting the sign out on 9th Street, it's more visible. So,
All right.
Thank you.
and
Thank you,
that's
Nancy.
where we'll be. I gave you all a piece of paper,
Yes.
but, and right now, the website, I would say before I told you to go out there, you could go out there and donate. Don't do that quite yet, because they're moving that to, a different place. So
All right.
if you want to donate, you can make it out to Story Street Pantry. You can either give it to me and I'll make sure they get it, or you can send it to the church.
All right,
Okay.
Nancy. Thank you.
But March 1st is our next one. If you know of anybody that needs us, send them our way.
Thank you.
Down to comments. Anybody have anything? Come on up, Ray.
Yeah, I'd just like to commend the city crews on the snow removal, the last couple snows. I think they've done a really good job.
Thank you. Anybody else? David, you have anything?
I do not.
Jason?
I don't have anything, thanks.
Jacob?
I don't know.
I mean, it was kind of a nice ceremony today down at the casino. I mean, I want to thank Jason and Victor for showing up and representing the city. I mean, it was a big accomplishment. I mean, that was years and years in the works. Now we have a destination that's going to hopefully we build off of and other things come. So I want to thank the Ponca tribe for everything they did, and it's very well deserved, and how they support this community is very well appreciated. Jackie?
I know, I wanted to be there, but I had an appointment at 10. I got there at 11:30. Spent some money in the machines, so gave my donations. Ate lunch there. And I wish I would have been in here. I wanted to talk about the minutes. I thought if we're going to go this route of doing transcripts for the minutes, then it should be all or none. And to pick and choose what part of the minutes you're going to use a transcript for in the middle and not include everything throughout the whole thing, I think there's a conflict of interest there.
All right. Victor?
Up just, they got the 2 restaurants at the new casino, so you can just go in and eat. You don't have to gamble. They got a sports bar. They got, 4 screens. It'll break into 24.
Yep.
They got a 24/7,
Nice.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week restaurant open for breakfast and lunch. Then they got the higher dining. Really nice facility. I'd say go take a look at it and maybe drop your lucky money in the machine, because they are very good supporters of our community. And thanks for coming out.
Jackie, you got anything?
Yeah, so I want to remind everybody that pet registrations are due through up to March 1st, and after March 1st, there's going to be a late fee. And then also today, due to the weather, there is a 1-day delay on recycling and trash. So if you're on Wednesday, you're on Thursday, and if you're on Thursday, you'll be on Friday. That's it.
Aaron?
Aaron, you have anything?
Nothing, thank you.
Nothing? All right.
Hanging you up. Goodbye.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned. Be careful out there. It's cold and it's slick. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
I totally forgot that was today.
There was a nice story on Channel 7 News, 6 o'clock or whatever.
Was Jason on it?
I didn't see him. I was looking for you guys.
So they have sports gambling in there? I don't know if I do that.
They have a sports bar that's